Welcome back. Thursday, January 4th. Okay, so we've already discussed, we're doing projects, we're doing gear reviews, we're opening up boxes. What can we do on Thursdays? Well, if you remember last year, I tried my hand at, here in the city, in the desert, I grew some tomatoes. Well, Thursday, that's where we're going to be discussing, the different gardening aspects of what you can do in either, like on a small scale. So if you only have a backyard or a patio, a windowsill, we're going to be doing some gardening tips, as well as you'd be amazed at how much stuff they're at. They're like out in the city here. There's a lot of stuff that you can forage that a lot of people might not realize, and so that's why it's important that you do the research for your area. Now, of course, I will be sharing research for my area because that's what I know. And I think that that's a greater challenge because I do live in the city, in the desert. So, plant options, not exactly that plentiful, but they are out there. And so, and it's important to learn what plants you can and can't eat and kind of look around your surroundings and know your area. But more importantly is that if there is a bad situation and you do have to rely on survival and prepping and stuff, it's also important that you do know how to garden, because you can have the biggest, best built up survival pantry that there is. Once the food's gone, the food is gone. You have to be able to replace the food. And so that's why it's a lot of these people that it's I have they'll buy a year's worth of dehydrated foods, but what are they going to do after that? They don't know how to do anything, and yeah, whereas it's good to have your survival food buckets, but you can only eat beans and rice for so long, oatmeal, beans, rice, dehydrated mashed potatoes, but it's important to be able to replenish that food. And that's why I always say that, it's it's good to have, a good year or two of food stored away, whether it's canned, dehydrated, but at the same point in time, you also want to be able to wean yourself off of that, and say that you have the first few months where it's rough, but you're able to start growing food, foraging food, trapping animals, fishing, stuff like that. So you're able to augment your food pantry. Well, then that beans and rice is going to last a lot longer, and so the stuff that's harder to replace, you'll be able to stretch out. And so instead of eating all your rice, you grow some potatoes, some sweet potatoes in a bucket, in a box. You grow some starchy foods so that you don't have to eat all of your rice up, and then that way your rice will last. That 1 year's worth of rice might last you 5 years, 6 years, because now you're eating sweet potatoes and potatoes that you grow by yourself, and you can keep growing, and you can keep replenishing. And so that's why there for a while, several years ago, survival boxes, they had some really good monthly subscription boxes. I was watching them on Dynamic Preppers YouTube channel, and they've changed their layout. I tried to get survival boxes, but it wouldn't even let me put in my address. It was crazy. So, but they used to have a gear. They used to have a gear box. They used to have a food box. Then they'd have where you get everything box. And the nice thing about the food box is, it would give you things like MREs and water, water pouches and stuff. But they always put in some heirloom seeds. And so, and for me, that was a very well thought out subscription. And, I had seen it on his channel, and I was like, oh, I want to get this box. And then when I went to the website, and it was completely different. So I was a little bit bummed out because I thought that the aspect of every month getting, an MRE or two. Yeah, well, it wasn't necessarily MREs, but they would usually put in like 2 or 3 dehydrated foods or freeze dried meals, and then they put in, you know, like your water packets, like 4 water packets. They put in like 2 or 3 or 4. It was more than that. I think it was like you would get like 5 or 6 freeze dried meals, and you would get like some heirloom seeds. And I always thought that that was a really cool idea. And then when you got like the big box, you know, you would get that, and then you would also get like, you know, the knives and, you know, the first aid kits and all the gear that came along with it. But for me, I always thought that the food aspect of it, which I think was the B box, was just an awesome idea. And they don't do it anymore. So, but that's something to think about is, you know, when it does come to this is, you know, you need to know your area. You need to know what plants grow in your area, you know, what zone you're in, because there are different zones for plants and trees and stuff. And you have to get out there, and that also goes along with recycling what you have so that you make best use of what you have. And so, you know, build that compost pile. So instead of just throwing your scraps away, you know, put them in a compost pile so you can build some good mulch so that you can grow healthier food. And there's other tips that, you know, that I'm going to go into on that channel that you can do with, you know, with table scraps, you know, with different plants and vegetables so that you can make better use of them too. So, yeah, so I mean, Thursdays may not be the most exciting of days, but I think it's important to know how to do that stuff. And so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about gardening tips, foraging tips. You know, we may discuss like some hunting and trapping, and you know, possibly how to process game and fish and stuff like that. You know, but it's going to be kind of like, you know, the kind of a food. Mainly gardening though, but we may discuss all of that on Thursdays though. It's going to be pretty crazy year, but I look forward to this, and it's something, this has kind of been a dream of mine to actually do this and, you know, have this daily routine going. So thank you for watching. Please consider giving me that thumbs up. Go ahead and leave me a comment so we can push that algorithm out. And hey, come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, and see what we're going to be talking about on Fridays.